All right, let's talk about something that I bet almost everyone has felt. It's this constant, draining tiredness, right? Even on days when you feel like you've done, well, nothing at all.
And this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's so frustrating. I mean, you didn't run a marathon, you didn't climb a mountain, but you're just completely wiped. You end the day even more exhausted than when you started, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's because the stories we tell ourselves about why we're so tired, they're usually just plain wrong. We jump straight to thinking, ugh, I'm just lazy or I've got no motivation. But the real answer, it's actually a bit more scientific. And it probably has everything to do with that little device in your hand right now. So let's break down this experience. We're going to call it the tiredness paradox. It's that energy drain you just can't quite put your finger on. So does this cycle sound familiar? You wake up and boom, you're already tired. Instead of feeling refreshed, you feel like you're already behind for the day. You kind of drag yourself to work or to class, just running on fumes. And then when you finally get a break, what do? You grab your phone to relax, right? You scroll. And somehow you end up feeling even more drained than before.
Okay, so here's the most important thing I want you to hear. Stop blaming yourself for this. This is not a character flaw. You're not lazy. And look, a good night's sleep is always great, but this kind of tiredness, it sticks around even after a full 8 hours. The real culprit is something else entirely.
So what is the real culprit here? The problem is actually happening inside your brain on a chemical level. Yeah, we need to talk about dopamine because it turns out it's the hidden energy killer. This brings us to something called dopamine overload. See, every single time you scroll past a new video or you get a notification or even just switch between apps, your brain gets this tiny little hit of a pleasure chemical called dopamine. Now, one hit is tiny, but they're constant. And all those little hits are basically rewiring your brain's entire reward system. And this creates a really dangerous trade-off. That quick little dopamine hit, from scrolling or watching a reel, it feels good for a second, but the aftermath, it's a total energy crash. Your brain gets so hooked on these super easy, super fast rewards that a real task like studying for a test or doing some deep work or even just having a real conversation, it starts to feel impossible. It feels boring and just not worth the effort. Okay, but here's the good news. Now that you understand what's happening, the solution is actually super practical. This isn't about, changing your entire life overnight. It's a simple 3-step plan to reset your energy. All right, here's the game plan. It's just 3 steps. First, you've got to protect your mornings. For the first 30 minutes after you wake up, no phone. Seriously, don't flood your brain with all that noise right away. Just let it wake up. Second, do one hard thing first. It can be super small, like just make your bed or answer that one email you've been avoiding. This builds real momentum, not fake dopamine momentum. And third, when you take a break, actually take a break. Put the phone down. Just sit there. Look out the window. Let your mind get bored for a minute. That is when your brain actually resets. And do you know what the best part is? You don't have to do this forever to see if it works. The challenge is simple. Just try it for 3 days. That's it. Think of it like a little experiment. Just 3 days of these small changes, and you will feel a real tangible difference in your energy. I mean, it's worth a shot, right? So, let's bring this all together. The biggest takeaway here is that we need to redefine what this fatigue actually is. And I really want this next part to sink in. You're not lazy. You're overloaded. Your brain is an amazing tool, but it's a finite resource. And right now, it's being bombarded with way more stuff than it was ever designed to handle. So that feeling of exhaustion, it's not a sign that you're failing. It's just a signal that your system is completely overwhelmed. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Think about that project you keep putting off, or that book you've been meaning to read, or that new skill you wanted to learn. Because this whole thing, it's not just about feeling less tired. It's about getting back the mental energy you need to actually do the things that matter to you. So if you could fix this overload, what could you finally achieve?